It is Friday, March 1st, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi with my I'm going to have four of my favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. Obviously, before I can get into today's picks, I got to do a recap from yesterday, which if you just followed the YouTube picks that I gave out, you had a great day yesterday. My YouTube picks went 2-1, so I got 2 out of 3 to cash. You would have been up 1 unit. And I also got one of my 2 ladder plays to cash as well, and you would have been up a little bit less than a unit on my ladder plays. Unfortunately, I did add an additional play via Twitter and my Dub Club as the day went on. I added D'Angelo Russell assists. My logic for that was I did not think that LeBron was going to play, and I thought that we were getting a value on D'Lo assists because I thought LeBron was going to miss. And even if LeBron played, I was confident that he could at least hit his main line over-under of over 6.5 assists. That was wrong. I should have just waited until LeBron news was announced. That was a mistake by me. Luckily, we did still end the day slightly with a profit if you followed every play. On my main plays, I went 2-2, down 0.28 units because of that D'Angelo Russell loss. And then on ladder plays, I was able to be profitable enough with my Jalen Suggs made 3+ made 3-pointers to withstand the L on D'Lo's ladder assist play to still be up from ladder plays specifically. So all in all, yesterday we were up about 0.07 units. Not a lot of money being made, but hey, we'll never apologize for having a day in the green. But if you follow the YouTube picks, then you were eating pretty good yesterday. So hopefully people were able to do that. On the entire season, we're still having an incredible amount of success on these NBA player props. We are up 55.51 units on our main plays. And then I just started tracking ladder plays last Saturday, so it's been about 5 days now. And we're up 1.93 units on ladder plays as well. But again, would be about 2.5 if not for that D'Lo play last night, which has to count because I did play it. So before we get into today's picks, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not already. I give out plays every morning via YouTube, and then over the course of the day, if there's plays that I like, I will send them out on Dub Club, and then I'll post them on Twitter as well. I do have a Dub Club where you can get everything texted to you, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. And then for this specific video, if you could comment, all that stuff does help me out a ton. But enough about yesterday. Let's get into today's picks. Let's see if we can get wet a little bit. First play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here. This is in the Mavericks versus Celtics game. And I'm taking Jason Tatum over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists. This is best offered at -105 odds at ESPN Bet. This matchup against the Mavericks for Tatum, this is just perfect for him to rack up a ton of stats. I almost like a pumped up number for all of his points, rebounds, and assists. So getting his PRA at over 41.5, I think is phenomenal. And because I like all 3 of his props individually, that's why I decided to go with the PRA as opposed to points or anything like that. Obviously, we do have to hope that Luka plays. He's currently listed as questionable with a nose and an ankle injury. He's been listed with that nose injury for like 10 games now, and he's consistently played through that and played well. The ankle injury is new, so we'll have to monitor that. If he doesn't play, that just makes it even more likely that this could end up being a blowout. That would also mean if Luka sits that you want to take a look at some Kyrie Irving props. But hopefully Luka ends up playing, and hopefully if he doesn't play that the game is still close. But as for Jason Tatum, as I mentioned, this matchup is just perfect for him to rack up a ton of stats. According to Courtside Pal, the Mavericks are giving up the 5th most points per game to someone of Tatum's shooting profile and the 4th most to someone of Tatum's scoring profile. That makes sense as Jason Tatum takes a ton of pull-up jump shots, the most on the Celtics by far, and the Mavericks are tied with the Kings for giving up the most made field goals via pull-ups in the month of February. So last time Tatum played the Mavericks, he scored 39 points. So makes sense why they're listed as such a good matchup for Tatum points. I also am going to ladder him up to 30 plus points as well, which you can get at +170 odds at Bet365. That's just a half unit play. So points, check. As for assists, the Mavericks are giving up the 6th most assists per game to someone of Jason Tatum's playmaking style. And when you look at their recent games, guys with the same playmaking style as Tatum have gone over their assist prop. Again, this is all per Courtside Pal. But Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Donovan Mitchell, they all have the same assist playmaking style as Tatum. They all have gone over their assist over-under against the Mavericks recently. And Quickley put up 9 against them on an over-under that's pretty low. RJ Barrett also put up 6 against them on an over-under below that. So assists, check. But then as for rebounds, the Mavericks are giving up the 5th most rebounds per game to someone of Tatum's rebounding style. Tatum has had 10 or more rebounds in each of the last 3 games against the Mavericks, including the one time that they played this year. His rebound over-under is 8.5, but I like pumping his rebounds up to 10 plus. You can get that at plus 125 odds at Bet365, and I put a half-unit play on that as well. So riding high with Tatum, as I think he could get 50 points, rebounds, assists. I think he has that potential in this game. Next up, Bucks versus Bulls. I'm taking DeMar DeRozan over 23.5 points plus 100 odds at DraftKings. So this play, DeMar has been on fire recently. He's been playing so well that I legitimately almost just decided to totally sit this one out because he's been hitting at such a high number that it's crazy. And it just makes me nervous because eventually, A, people are just going to catch on, or the books are going to catch on, and B, the cold part has to happen for DeMar eventually. But the heater he's been on is crazy. He's gone over 23.5 points in 9 of his last 10 games. The last game that he played against the Cavaliers, a good defense, he scored 35 points. So the fact that his over-under is still at 23.5, and we're still getting it for even money, to me, feels like a gift that the sportsbooks are giving us. And whenever it feels like the sportsbooks are giving you a gift, that generally means something's wrong. Like the last example of this I can remember was, I think that was on Wednesday, Darius Garland, his over-under 6.5 assists. He had cashed in 7 straight, and the over was plus money. And guess what? He went under. But that a little bit is just kind of juju that worries you, and nothing real or analytical. But reality is, he's been playing amazing, and the matchup against the Bucks is just so good for DeMar to score a bunch of points. Per Courtside Pal, the Bucks are giving up the 4th most points per game to DeMar's shooting profile and the 2nd most to his scoring profile. Even as the Bucks defense has gotten better recently, they still allow a ton of points to exactly where DeMar scores. So it makes sense why the Bucks defense is listed as such a good matchup for DeMar. The Bucks allow a ton of pull-up opportunities. In the month of February, the Bucks defense is allowing teams to take the 3rd most pull-up field goal attempts in the NBA. That's in the month of February, even as their defense has gotten better. And what's even worse is they are allowing literally the most mid-range shot attempts in the entire NBA as well, and the most made mid-range field goals as well. Both the most made and attempted mid-ranges. It's not good. That's a death sentence when it comes to DeMar DeRozan. He's the mid-range king. He's the mid-range merchant. Unsurprisingly, he takes the most mid-range shot attempts in the entire NBA on the entire season. And in the month of February as well, he's still attempting the most mid-range jump shot opportunities in the NBA. Last time that the Bulls played the Bucks, DeMar scored 41 points. That's not surprising to me at all, considering where he scores from and where the Bucks give up. And it's all because of their drop coverage. If you're asking the reason why, it's because of the drop coverage they play on pick and roll with Brook Lopez. It just leads to a ton of walk-in pull-up opportunities in the mid-range. That's literally exactly perfect for DeMar DeRozan. So everything points to him going over, considering he's cashed it 9 of 10, and considering the matchup, which probably means he's going under, and then I'm going to be frustrated because I should have seen this coming. But if you just look at everything from a matchup perspective, it's perfect, so I'm going with it. Next up, Wizards versus Clippers game. Ivica Zubac, hopefully I pronounced his first name correct, but Zubac, 10 plus rebounds, plus 165 odds at Bet365. So for this one, it's death, it's taxes, and it's centers collecting a ton of rebounds against the crap Wizards team. It's a tale as old as time. The Wizards are giving up the most rebounds per game to centers in the entire NBA on the entire season. They're also giving up the most rebounds per game to centers if you look at the past month as well. It's not like they've gotten any better. If anything, they've actually gotten worse as they traded away Daniel Gafford, who was their leading rebounder at the time. Unsurprisingly, Courtside Pal lists the Wizards as the best matchup in the entire NBA when it comes to Zubac's rebounding style. Now, Zoo didn't play last game. He missed it, and he's currently listed as questionable for tonight. If he ends up missing, then we'll just get this play refunded, no harm, no foul. But if he plays, he's going to play his normal allotment of minutes. And the reason why the Wizards give up so many rebounds to centers, it's pretty simple. They play at the fastest pace in the NBA, so they just put up a ton of jump shots. And they also stink, so they miss a ton of shots as well, and they don't have a traditional big man to rack up a ton of rebounds, which just means that centers eat rebounds against them. Last night, Anthony Davis had 15 rebounds. Prior to that, Jared Allen had 12. Chet Holmgren had 10. Jokic had 19. Gafford, in his first game against the Wizards in a revenge spot, had 17 rebounds. Now, Zubac did miss the last game he played, so he missed the last game. just didn't play. The last game he did play, he went under this rebound total. He only had 6 rebounds, but he had cashed 10 plus in 4 straight games prior to that. He should be able to do so once again tonight. I absolutely love this play. That's our third one. Next up, fourth and final pick of the evening, Hornets versus 76ers game. Buddy Hield, 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 165 odds at Bet365. Buddy has just been chucking it. He's just been firing away since he's been a member of the Sixers. Now, granted, it's only been 8 games, but he was traded over to the Sixers to fire away, and he should still just continue to do so. He leads the team in both 3-point attempts and made 3-pointers as well. He's attempting about 9 per game, and he's making exactly 3.8 per game. So he's making close to the 4 number that we're taking him at, and we're getting it for plus 165 odds. In this matchup against the Hornets, even as their defense has been playing a little bit better recently, it's still a very good matchup for Buddy Hield and specifically his 3-point prop. So he should continue to fire away tonight. According to Courtside Pal, the Hornets are giving up the 5th most points per game to Buddy's shooting profile, the 2nd most to Buddy's scoring profile, and Buddy is a 3-point merchant. He fires away from deep, so it looks good that the Hornets defense is considered a good matchup for Buddy. And it also makes sense, right? The Hornets being a good matchup for Buddy makes sense when you look at what the Hornets give up and where Buddy shoots from. And all of this data for Buddy is since he's been a member of the Sixers, and for the Hornets is in the month of February. And I'm using the month of February because I A, just like having a recent sample size, and B, their defense has been better recently. So if they go back, their defense does, to how they're playing earlier in the season, that's just going to bode well even more for us. But as a member of the Sixers, Buddy is taking 4.5 spot up shot attempts per game. When you're spotting up, generally that is from deep. And he's shooting, and that's the most on the Sixers, by the way, the 4.5 spot up attempts per game. That's most on the Sixers. And he's shooting over 47% on catch and shoot opportunities as well, taking the most catch and shoot opportunities on the Sixers. So he's taking the most catch and shoot, taking the most spot up as well, and he's shooting really well on these catch and shoot spot up opportunities. Now let's look at the Hornets. The Hornets are giving up 3-pointers in the exact same way in which Buddy Hield shoots. This isn't the entire NBA because I couldn't filter for a specific month actually. But the Hornets are giving up the 2nd most points per game to spot ups in the entire NBA. And then in the month of February, they're allowing teams to attempt the 3rd most catch and shoot 3-pointers as well. I just love the fact that Buddy has been firing away. I also like the fact that his most recent game with the Sixers was the only game he didn't make at least 3 3-pointers. So hopefully that kind of swings back the other way for us. But I absolutely love this one. I really liked the 4 plays that we had on the board today. Let's hope we have a good day. And that's all we got. 4 bangers for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the Dub Club that I talked about earlier, I mention it at the end of every video. Number one, it's only $5 a month, so I don't want people to think that I'm asking for some ridiculous price. And I will say, everything that you get on Dub Club, you can also get for free either on YouTube or on Twitter. The logic for the Dub Club is people that want my picks, but they just want to text it to them, right? They don't want to watch the YouTube video. They don't want to wait until odds change or something like that. That was kind of why I created the Dub Club in general. People were like, hey, I like the picks that you're giving out, but I don't always have time to watch the YouTube video, or the odds sometimes change by the time I watch the YouTube video. So I said, okay, I'll make a Dub Club, charge $5 a month for it, and you can get stuff immediately texted to you. So whether you just want the plays, you can lock in them immediately. Then you want to watch the YouTube video, that's fine. If you just want the plays and you don't care about the analysis, that's fine. Or if you don't want to spend $5 a month and you want to get everything for free on YouTube, that's also fine. I just like giving people the option, and that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.